awesome. The the acceptance there is unlike any in the Matrix in society. You don't need to act a personality. I didn't need to become a personality to fit in. All I needed to do was just be me, be there, and work in the physical and assist in the farm, assist in the duties in the farm. It was really nice to get away from the day to day to day routine that I was living and the shitty experience that I was creating in my day to day routine. I was building up and building up and building up heavy resistance to facing my reality to the extent where I would get home and all I would do is entertain myself just so that I could ignore my reality and what I've created for myself. And so, in getting to the farm, it was a break from that. I I was able to stabilize myself at the farm. There is definite structure there in support, sorry, in place, definite structure in place to support you in letting go of your shit. And I did that a lot. Um, my mind was very loud. Like it was running a lot of backchat, a lot of thoughts, and it was hard for me to focus on anything without thought. So after a week and a half or so, it started to calm down a lot because I wasn't in that environment that stimulates all of this reaction in me. I was in a very stable environment that supported the calmness, it supported breath, it supported being here because you had to be here. There was nothing to project on, there was nothing to influence the mind to the extent where all you do is think. Like such in like a city, like there's all these flashing lights, all of this noise, all of this background noise, where at the farm there was quiet. There was not a plane in the sky. There was barely a car on the road that you could hear. The only sound that we heard was our own sounds and that of a few close neighbors. It's not like in the city, well, there's a constant background noise of traffic or cars or construction or people just constantly going. It was quiet there. And in that quietness, you're able to stop for a bit, stop the running in your mind. I was able to stop the running in my mind. And in that, it was a pleasure to finally do that. The acceptance there as well was comforting because you didn't need to be a personality. You didn't need to act in a certain way to fit in with a group and uh, develop a personality to survive within the group. That wasn't supported. It was supporting of sharing yourself and who you actually are within each point. And in that, there's a comfort because you don't need to put on an act. You don't need to become stiff and watch your words to the extent where you're fearful of saying what you actually think through the fear of surviving. Like, for example, if I said what I actually think about my work to my boss or things like that, there's, I'd be fired. And in there, it's not a problem. It's not a fear. So there's no need for a personality construct, a new personality construct to exist there. You're able to stop and debunk a lot of yourself. And in that, it's comforting because it's supportive of that. It's not supportive of creating an alternate personality to survive within the environment. It's supportive of sharing yourself and debunking yourself so that you can be here and work with the physical and live within the physical. The animals are nice too. It was my first time working with horses, like actually working with horses, and it was fascinating to see how stable I had to be in directing the horse. And if I allowed any projection or thought to run me for me to pay attention to, the horse would push me around. So in that you had to stop and you had to be here and you had to direct the horse. Direct the horse as yourself. Direct yourself and then in that directing the horse. And again, there are no rules. There are no there's no rules in terms of all right, let me rephrase that. There is structure there, as in like you have to work 5 days a week, but in that there's not a have to. I mean, if you're feeling sick and ill, you don't have to. I mean, it's given you that opportunity to not do that. Meaning, like, if I only have a certain amount of sick days at work that I can use up within a year, and if I'm sick for a week at the farm, I can take that week off. It's not pushing you because there's no money involved. There is no there's no money goal in it. So if you're sick, you take care of yourself. You don't push yourself so that the farm can make more money. It's not involved like that. And so in there, it's again self-supportive. It's not supportive of the mind. It's not supportive of the energy of the money. It's supportive of life. And I've never experienced that before. Like my whole life has been living within the city. And in that, it's all been geared towards survival. That's all that I've known so far. And in that, that's all that I've existed within. Hmm. And how they utilize the space that that is on the farm, it was fascinating to see. Because they do what's best for the environment. I mean, when I was there, we had to dig up a garden so that we could plant a large amount of vegetables. And they were building a nursery so that you could start the vegetables there and then transplant them. There was guava trees, there was fig trees, there was grapevines. Uh, Again, yeah, there was plenty of vegetation to support all life. It was very cool to see how humans can in fact work together to better the environment through considering the environment. How without the influence of money and with the group of people standing up in what is best for all in the same cause and in standing in the same principles, you can actually get shit done quite effectively and support the earth instead of only being supportive of yourself and self-interest of your own money and your own survival. So I mean, it's proof that humans are able to work together and push through their shit. And that's something too. I thought that the farm would be like perfect, like no conflicts, no shit to have to go through. But there was conflicts and there was shit to go through. But they go through it effectively. Everybody on the farm supports the person to go through it effectively, to take it back to self, to look at what self is doing, and not project it onto the other person who supposedly made the one angry. So, yeah, I mean, it's not that idea of perfect. I mean, there is still shit to deal with, but the way of dealing with that shit is still best because it doesn't conflict with the group. It only inverts it back to self, and then self has to deal with the shit themselves. And in that, you don't allow that separation to exist, and then spite to exist, and fucking over the group through becoming emotional. You take it back to self. So it's an awesome example of how humans can in fact live under the same principles and direct this reality into what's best for all. It's living proof. So yeah, to sum it up, I loved my experience on the farm. I'm hesitant to use that word, but it was something that I've never experienced before. Something that I will go back to yearly. Something that I recommend for anybody who's had the consideration to go to the farm is to find that opportunity in your schedule and take it. It is amazing. Thank you.